Cheltenham at Boyle Sports. Bring it on.
Very welcome to Cheltenham, the first day of the festival. We're all buzzing to get going here, particularly one man who actually has a runner today, Joseph O'Brien. He has Edwolf in the 4-miler with Derek O'Connor taking the ride. Joseph, how confident are you?
Yeah, so listen, he's in good form, Johnny. Won well the last day. He has a high rating, and we'll find out today whether he's earned it or not.
Yeah, and you seem fairly confident that he'll get the trip, which I suppose is an imponderable for a lot of these horses.
Yeah, listen, he was just beat 3 miles in Punchestown. No reason why he shouldn't get it, but at the same time, he has to go and do it. So he's in good form. He's schooled well. Derek is a great man in his back, and hopefully he can run a good race.
And would Derek ride him to get the trip, or ride him with confidence that he'll get it anyway?
Listen, I say you have to ride him like they're going to get it, but I leave it up to Derek. He knows the race a lot better than I do.
Leon, this horse is going to be popular today.
Yeah, he is popular. He's a favourite, Johnny. We'd love Joseph to win. He is our racing ambassador. He's a 5-1 favourite at the moment, but I think there's plenty of competition in the race. But the horse was very impressive last day at Naas, as Joseph said. I think Genie in a Bottle will also be very popular. The mount of Jamie Codd. 2 great Irish pilots there, Derek O'Connor and Jamie Codd. And there is a bit of talk in England, certainly, for Beware of the Bear. Nicky Henderson's runner. So look, it's competitive. You don't know if they're going to get the trip. All you can do is hope, but if they get 3 miles, you'd imagine a little bit of a slower pace here. They should be okay, but hopefully Edwolf can do it for Joseph.
Do you fancy Edwolf, Niall?
I do actually, yeah. As Joseph said, he's a high enough rating for the race, and look, once he gets the trip, he should be very hard to beat. You know, you've Derek here, you've Jamie, you've Katie Walsh, Barry O'Neill, Roger Quinlan. They all have good rides in it. But I'd say with Derek on board, I think Edwolf could just shade it.
I'll stay with you for the big opening race, Supreme Novice Hurdle, one of my favourite races of the festival. Mellon's a hot fancy for Ireland here, even though we've only seen him once.
Yeah, look, there's a talk of the lack of experience in that, but coming out of Willie's, you can be sure he's a lot of experience in schooling races and things like that. There's no replica for what's going to happen here today with the crowds and that sort of thing, but Willie said his temperament is fine. I wasn't converted until quite recently, but I think now in an open enough renewal he could win it. But Lebec is the horse that deserves a mention. If he jumps off with him, he could cause a big surprise at 33 or 40 to 1 or whatever he is, but he has to jump off, and with him that doesn't really happen every day of the week.
Lebec, have you seen any money for Niall's mad selection on race day 1?
No, I think lads would want their head examined back in him.
There you are, Niall.
But look, we would give the money back anyway on the horse if he doesn't take part.
Where are you getting the money from this morning actually? Is Mellon being backed?
Mellon is, look, he's 3-1, Johnny. I suppose he's been 3-1 now for the past 5 or 6 days. He only has the one run, but when a genius like Willie Mullen says that, you know, he's the real deal, and I think the press lads were down at his yard, you were probably there, and I think someone asked the question, would it be a hard decision for Ruby, bunk off early or Mellon? I think it was pretty evident who Ruby was going to ride. So look, he has the one run, but maybe he'll go to the front and they won't see him. I think another horse in Nicky Henderson's, River Wild, was very good, I thought, at Kempton the last day. But certainly Willie's got plenty of bullets in this race, and Crack Mom, there's been a little bit of each way support for him. The mount of Danny Mullins, he disappointed last time out, but maybe back here at Cheltenham might see a bit of improvement in him, you know.
Joseph, we've a smell of a barbecue in the background. Every time you get that smell, are you happy you're not riding?
Yeah. I suppose that's an interesting question for day 1 in Cheltenham, Johnny. But yeah, listen, I suppose so, yeah.
If you were riding in the Supreme, how would you like to be on?
Listen, in Mellon, I suppose. When Ruby and Willie are so confident and so confident that there's so much between himself and Bunk Off Early, I would have given Bunk Off Early a great chance. But when Ruby and Willie are so confident that he's in a different league than him, that has to put him ahead of the others. Ballyandy has loads of experience, very good horse, seems to be getting better with each run this year. But himself and Bunk Off Early, probably not much between them. And when Willie and Ruby think there's so much between Bunk Off Early and Mellon, that shades it for me.
Yeah, I'd have the same approach. And if you're from a trainer's perspective, how hard is it to get a horse here, would you say, for the Supreme? Just one run over hurdles and then to go into the warfield that is that?
An awful lot depends on the horse. You know, some horses are very natural and some horses are not. Obviously this fella is. I think he was in training last year as a 3-year-old, so that also will stand to him. Probably had a few schooling races then, a few schooling races again this year. I know there's no substitute for Supreme Novices, but at the same time I'd place all my faith in Willie Mullins.
As with a lot of punters this week, Niall, and they'll be putting a lot of faith in Altior as well, who's obviously going to be a hot favourite in the Arkle.
Yeah, he's a hot favourite. I think the Boyle Sports offer there is appealing to people there with money back to the SP favourite if you finish second or third. So you could take a chance with some plan or Royal Caviar. I'd personally go with the hurl columnist David Mullins there to get a place on some plan and at a price. Then if anything does happen to Altior, at least you have the insurance and you have a good price on your selection as well.
Explain that offer, Leon, particularly for a race like this. It's a bit of a boon for punters.
Yeah, look, we're doing it for the 28 races, Johnny. If you finish second or third to the starting price favourite, you get your money back as a free bet. Look,
that's up to a stake of
20 quid. So it's for the ordinary man who wants to have a bet in most races at Cheltenham. That's who we're trying to appeal to. It gives him a chance that if they want to go for a bigger price, and as Niall said, Altior is 2 to 7. He'll probably be 1 to 4. The same will apply to Duvan tomorrow. He's going to be very short, so people are going to back a horse hoping something might happen to favour. They might even win it, but probably not. But they'll get their money back if they come second or third. Look, I think Altior will win. I think the only horse that'll beat Altior is Altior. He looks very good. I remember him here 12 months ago in the Supreme Novices. The way he came up that hill was electric, Johnny, and I think everyone else will be fighting for second and third. If I was having a bet, I'd probably go Royal Caviar each way. I thought he would have won in the Irish Arkle at Leopardstown when he fell at the last. So, look, but they're all just playing for places. That's it.
Simple as that, Joseph?
Yeah, simple as that. Just watching Altior and looking forward to seeing him take on Duvan someday.
What do you make of Altior's jumping in general?
Yeah, he's a little bit careful, but I'd much rather feel a little bit careful than going down and trying to bring fences with him. Yeah, he's a really, really good horse, and I'd enjoy him.
And we'll stay with you for the champion hurdle, the big race of the day. Mark Walsh riding Yanworth, bidding for his first Cheltenham winner, incidentally, and his first ride of the whole festival, which is an interesting way of going into it. Would that be a worry for you at all?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. Mark Walsh is a top class rider, and I'd be over the moon for him to win. I think he's a great chance. Tough horse, stays, travels, and whatever beats him, I think he'll win.
You're pretty confident about him. What else do you think has a good chance in the race, maybe each way?
Yeah, listen, obviously when Moon Race was supplemented, everyone thinks he has a great chance. Brain Power probably one that I think would have a great chance. It looks an open renewal of the race, and he's a very high class handicapper, and has looked like he is much better than a handicapper, and he's one that could run a big race.
Leon, it does look an open race, maybe if you take Yanworth out of it at the very least. And where has the money been going this morning?
Well, it's not. Look, to be fair, he's 11 to 4, so it's he's not an absolute certainty at that price. But I think his form is rock solid. He's only ever been beaten once by York Hill in the Neptune. The Neptune normally is the best trial for the champion hurdle, and I don't think a lot went right for him that day 12 months ago. And as Joseph said, it's great that Mark Walsh has been given the chance in these big races. Like, this is the creme de la creme on day one, the champion hurdle. There's no bigger race than it, and I would agree with Joseph. I mean, he's a top class jockey. He never ever really puts a foot wrong, and I think Yanworth is the one they all have to beat. If I was backing something each way just to maybe have an interest, I'd agree with Joseph. I think Brain Power, in a year where it's not there's no standout individual in the race, maybe he could just squeak into a place. But I've backed Yanworth, and I think he will win.
Is there any danger at all here, Niall, that we're forgetting Willie Mullins, in the sense that he's two runners who you could make a case for somewhere or another, and given his record in the race and decided that Lamini wouldn't go, are we going to be made fools of by the great man come the big race today?
Wouldn't be the first time, Johnny, I'd say, would it? Look, Footpad, I think personally was flattered by his close proximity to Petit Mouchoir at Leopardstown, but Wicklow Brave is a leisure winner. He ran in the Melbourne Cup, albeit that didn't really go according to plan, but he's a high class flat horse on his day, and you can't change that, you can't take that away from him. But maybe he will go and make a fool of us, but I can't see it today. He has a great record in the race, he's looking to win it for the 5th time, but for me it's Petit Mouchoir.
You're sweet on Petit Mouchoir, and I'm quite taken by how weak he is in the betting. Him and Lamini, I suppose, are the two, or rather Vroom Vroom Mag, are the two main weaknesses this morning, and he's becoming a very backable price, isn't he, Petit Mouchoir?
He is. Look, I'd certainly be surprised if he's out of the tree. We spoke to Henry de Bromhead on the way over, and he was just saying about how the focus is so much on Cheltenham that he won an Irish champion hurdle, and someone says you're drifting for Cheltenham. He's just after winning one of the biggest races in Ireland, and that's what people's focus was. So he comes here having done absolutely nothing wrong, and I just think that if you look at the race, and Joseph will know more from riding. I just thought that the first two there really took each other on, and it allowed Football then to get into the race and just finish closer than he really would have. I don't think in a champion hurdle that's going to happen today. I think he'll just fend them off. As you say, if there is a bit of lack of confidence there, he's coming a very each way price at 8 or 9 to 1 now.
Joseph, were you surprised at all that Ruby went with Limini over Vroom Vroom Mag? Certainly the betting this morning is heavily with Ruby's mount.
Yeah, well, listen, it's not for me to say. Ruby has seen him every day. William Munn's seen him every day. They're the people that make them decisions. They know an awful lot more about it than I do.
You have a bit of knowledge of Apple's Jade, obviously, from last year, and she's definitely in the mare's hurdle argument as well, isn't she?
Absolutely, I give her a great chance. Tough mare. She's never been as good on her comeback run as she is on her next run. The triple suitor, obviously, she handles the track. Gordon will have her Terry ripe on the day, and I think it's between her and Vroom Vroom Mag.
Very interesting word. So he says between Vroom Vroom Mag and Apple's Jade, and these are two very good each way bets for punters because you have big prices apart from maybe Jer's Girl, the fourth favourite.
Yeah, I think Limini is currently around about the 13 to 8 mark. The two other fillies that Joseph mentioned, Apple's Jade and Vroom Vroom Mag, are 7 to 2. I suppose Ruby, as Joseph said, he's with them every day, but Vroom Vroom Mag was disappointing the last day. There's no getting away from that run. It was pretty average. If you can forgive her that run, maybe then she comes into the calculations, but I would have thought it was between Apple's Jade and Limini personally. I think both of them are going to fight it out. Limini was very good here 12 months ago in the Mare's Novice. She's obviously stepping up in trip here today compared to what she ran in 12 months ago, but I was just really taken by her in Punchestown, and you would imagine she would improve from that run. She'd been off the track for so long, so I'm going to stick with Limini, but I would not be surprised at all if Apple's Jade came in.
Joseph, you've given us some very forthright views. Have you anything for any of the handicaps today?
No, I haven't gone through them, Johnny. So I'd be lying if I could pick something. Listen, they're very, very competitive. So hard to win any race here. A half a stone up your sleeve is probably not going to be enough. So listen, I haven't gone through them in enough detail to make a selection for you.
And very quickly, have you declared on for the bumper tomorrow?
Yeah, West Coast Time runs in the bumper. Ground looks safe. The horse is in good form. He's 16 or 20 to 1. It's very hard to say where all the bumper horses are form-wise. However, bar Carter McKay beating the last day. Carter McKay won't get it as easy up front tomorrow. We'll hopefully be a bit closer to him, and listen, we'll see what happens.
Who rides?
Davy Russell.
Happy days for Joseph there. You've a big fancy at a big price today, Niall.
As you do.
Same race, unfortunately.
Same race,
will we take a dead heat?
We take a reverse forecast, I suppose, won't we? 20 to 1 shot and a 25 to 1 shot.
Explain which of them you're going with.
I'm going with Powers Bomb. Jamie actually rides him. He didn't know that himself when he was writing his column on Monday that he had to ride in the race, so it's a good ride for him against the professionals. He's just a horse that has seemed to be better over fences than he was over hurdles. He made a horrendous mistake at Leopardstown that would have wiped out any horse from being in contention, and he came back on the bridle like nothing happened. He had a good run when he fell at Leopardstown, and Baldark was going to finish behind him that day, and Baldark has come out and certainly franked that form by winning a €100,000 handicap and 2 Grade 3s. So at 25 to 1, I think Powers Bomb is definitely overpriced. As Joseph says, you have to really be on your A game here. Maybe he'll find one or two too good, but at 25 to 1, he certainly makes a lot of appeal each way, and I presume it's 4 places there, Leon, is it?
I will be 4 places, yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I'm with All Hell Let Loose in that race under Brian Cooper. It's similar enough price. Give us one for the handicaps, Leon.
I was just looking at it there, Johnny. Maybe
you have to have this now. You have 3 days study put into this. Don't be looking this morning.
No, maybe the Druid's nephew won the race in 2015, and if he came back to that he's on the same mark. If he came back to that same type of form, I think he's around 10 or 12 to 1. Maybe he could go close. Neil Mulholland fairly seldom leaves Cheltenham without a winner, so he's a very, very good trainer. So maybe the Druid's nephew for me.
Thanks to Joseph in particular here, getting ready to go for day one. Thanks also to Niall and Leon, and we'll be here for the rest of the week, and enjoy the action.
Boyle Sports will give you money back if your horse finished second or third to the SP favourite, or if your horse falls at the first or last jump on every race at Cheltenham. Plus, bet €10 with Boyle Sports today and get €30 in free bets. Cheltenham at Boyle Sports.